My life as a restaurateur is worse than a dog's life. Life is very unpredictable. We never know what is going to happen. Konnichiwa. I'm Tony Yang from Misato Japanese restaurant in Singapore. If you have seen me in the previous video, which I did earlier, you might have known that I have suffered 2.2 million losses on my Japanese restaurant. In this video, I'd like to share how the losses came about. In this video, it's not intended to offend anybody, but it's an expression, my thoughts and feeling in this business. After going through all these trying times, I'd rather be a dog than a restaurateur. I give all my life into this business, but it's not reciprocated. Many Singaporeans may not know to renovate a restaurant, to have the DV box installed is 25,000, waterproofing is 5,600, fresh air system is 25,000, the exhaust is about 30,000, gas provision is 18,000, management approval is 25,000. On top of it, one S-Pass is 650, non-SPM is 800. If you have 5 foreign workers, it can cost you up to 4,000-5,000. Salary and then the rental. That money can buy you a mortgage installment for a condo in Orchard. If your sales is 30,000 a month, and then if the overhead is 70,000, it means that you're throwing 20 to 30 brand new Gucci bag to Singapore River. Government just implemented this year to have 7 Singaporeans to have 1 S-Pass, and that is impossible. Nobody would like to stand in the restaurant for 10 hours. And I have not drawn salary for 7 years. I'm going through a lot of problems, like almost died in the hospital because my heart was palpitating, racing like a Lamborghini engine. I think the anxiety was growing, a lot of stress, staff issue, losing money. A lot of people may not know that like Mr. Bean kiosk store will cost 150,000. A lot of people thought that 10,000, 20,000 is enough. Some say that restaurant like this is 30,000 more than enough. The 30,000 only can set up a kacang putih store in Singapore. Please go and survey and make sure you know how much it costs to set a restaurant before it's set up. For a restaurant like this, it can cost you about $500,000 to renovate because the kitchen equipment plus all the electrical works to 300,000 plus the renovation, it costs more than $500,000. My ex-girlfriend was an accountant. She was doing the account for us and she saw that my account is in deficit, and that year alone in 2016 when we started this new restaurant, we lost about 1.5 million, and then she left me. I was very depressed over a period of time. You will face a lot of things like that. A lot of people say that my food is very good. It's only the location. The Japanese maker who came from Tokyo, and he came to my restaurant and tried my food, and he said our food is very good, but it's the location that is bad. Some people have been wondering why a restaurant owner is singing song covers. Either I have suicidal thoughts. I actually think of how to make myself popular, create awareness for my restaurant. So I went to London to sing song covers, and some people have commented my singing is worse than the sound of a turtle making love. It's ludicrous because some even scolded me about vulgarities. This is why I give a live rendition of my singing of Harry Styles song all the time. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the time. Welcome to the final show. I hope you're wearing your best clothes. You can ride the door on the way to the sky. You look pretty good down here, but you ain't really good. We never learned, we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from There's a Japanese chef told me that my taste bud is like a ratatouille. What she meant is I'm a very fussy person. I have a very high expectation on food. It's just me. Some people have commented our food is not authentic because the restaurant is not owned by a Japanese. One judge, the authenticity of the food by the owner's, the nationality. Is the brain that behind the recipe. Some Japanese chef and customer have commented our food standard has surpassed even the Japanese themselves. Our food preparation is very labor intensive. For example, the lotus root that is served with the salmon, the lotus root is carved into a flower shape, and to prepare the sweet vinegar, we have to use equal amount of rice vinegar and water, and then we have to add a tablespoon of sugar, okay, and then a pinch of salt to sharpen the taste. And then we have to melt it with the saucepan. We have to de-seed the togarashi, the chili, red pepper, and then soak it under water to prevent it from turning black. For the kamamashi is one of my favorite food when I travel to Japan. It makes rice with an iron pot. It was prepared with a dashi stock with mirin, sake, and our secret recipe. The ingredients are like chestnut, sweet potato, pumpkin, prawns, and with chicken legs to cook over 20 to 25 minutes to be ready. The next one will be sudachi soba. Sudachi soba literally means a new start of life, but to us, never give up, never say die. It's actually used a dashi, also a dashi stock, dashi broth. We have mirin, we have sugar into it. We have to cut the sudachi. Sudachi is actually lime. Cut the lime and then lay it on top of the soba. We make our own icon to a rabbit shape and looks very kawaii. I try to do things a bit radical than the normal restaurant because I like to do things that is special. So I created this on my own, which normally they just put as icon, but I make it a rabbit shape that looks very unique. A lot of people ask me to cut costs by getting local ingredients. To give you an analogy, Armand is a French luxury brand. Why they want to send their jeans to Japan to sew it and sell it for 2006, but the one that made in Italy is 1005? Are you trying to tell me that the French people or the Italian can't sew the jeans and sell it at 1005? Why they have to sell it at 2006? Because it's made in Japan. I believe the Japanese, they have their workmanship that is better. They are more good in tailoring. So likewise, Japanese product is different. If you buy a Japanese tomato and Malaysian tomato, it's two different things. So you're not comparing an apple with an apple again. They say that actually I can buy a moromi miso at Media. The Media one is shipped by container and takes 1 month to arrive in Singapore. But as for my moromi miso, it's air flown, so I find it very frustrating. They don't understand. There are things, even cooking sake, if you can get from the supermarket, there are some is $4.50. And you can find the email imported, that's $27. So even a sake and sake, they have two different prices. So we emphasize on the quality, and sometimes I sell it within my cost because we want to retain the customer, keep coming back, and not just to cheat them one time, people will not come back again. That's the difference. Why we don't get the local products, and people come for the food and the ingredients. This is why you can see that a lot of restaurants, after a while, the business slow down because they have no return customer. If you cheated them once, they will not come back again. Difficulties of being a businessman, not just financially, manpower, it's very tough to be a restaurant owner. We have customers who brought their own water bottle, no outside drinks. They'll give 1-star rating. Sometimes they waited too long for the food, also they give 1-star rating. And then sometimes the staff was very busy when the buffet. I look at the CCTV, they are very busy, but the lady said the manager was ignoring her, give a 1-star rating. So a lot of stress, incoming stress for all kind of things. So it's not easy. Recently I read an article about Donnie Yen. When he was 44 years old, he only has Hong Kong dollars, $100. But he's a billionaire now, so life is very unpredictable. We never know what is going to happen. Just like me, ironically, when I was 44 years old, I got 4 million. Now now I left with $44. When he was 44 years old, Donnie Yen, he directed 2 movies and was a complete flop. He lost all his savings. Life is like a roller coaster. So don't think that setting up a restaurant you'll be rich. You will end up like 4 million become $44. I hope that by having this video is to convey to the Singaporean the difficulties of setting up a restaurant. It's best for you guys to come and try my food rather than I say my food is the best. The food will do all the talking. And the people say, why not you wind down the business? I have to persevere because I put in all my life and effort in this restaurant for 7 years. You asked me to wind out. I felt indignant if it's just to wind out the restaurant like that. So I'm working very hard to make it successful. There's no one born with an ashtray eyes, and we are not able to foresee our own future. But Tony Young, I will do my utmost best to make my business successful. I really have regrets in setting up a restaurant because I lost my love, my house, my health, and also my life saving. So is it worth to set up a restaurant? You think twice before you set up. Yeah.